Defíname materia.
La existencia del universo es materia.
Eso no es definición.
Materia.
¿Cómo se define una cosa en ciencia?
Energía.
Se define por sus actividades.
Energía.
Eso no es una definición.
Bueno, creación.
Tampoco.
¿No?
La definición
Bueno,
es...
¿cómo define usted la materia?
Materia es todo y solo lo que actúa por una de las 4 fuerzas que reconocemos.
¿Cuáles son?
Gravitatoria, electromagnética, nuclear fuerte y nuclear débil.
Bueno, espíritu,
defíname espíritu.
Espíritu, lo que no es materia, pero es producto de la materia.
Magnífico, de modo que la materia hace algo que no es materia.
Sí, es capaz.
Pues no es capaz.
Bueno, usted lo
Porque
piensa.
la definición de la materia se hace por esas 4 fuerzas.
Claro.
Y esas solo modifican la materia, es lo único que hacen.
Can matter alone truly account for all that we are? Can the spiritual be reduced to mere byproducts of physical and chemical processes? In this powerful exchange, Manuel Carrera makes his stance unmistakably clear. The essence of the human being cannot be reduced to mere matter. Carrera, a physicist, astronomer, and Jesuit priest, asserts that anything which cannot be explained through the 4 fundamental forces does not fall within the domain of matter, and therefore lies beyond the scope of materialist science. He firmly states that science defines matter by what it does, not by what we believe it to be. If something does not operate under the influence of gravity, electromagnetism, or the strong and weak nuclear forces, then by definition, it is not matter. This is not a theological view. It is a scientific one. And if we accept that premise, then consciousness and all that escapes these forces cannot be explained by matter alone, no matter how forcefully some may try.
Ningún científico le aceptará a usted, por ejemplo, que yendo al laboratorio depende de que usted dé una orden a unos productos químicos sobre la mesa para que haya una reacción o no la haya. Nadie dirá eso jamás. Se dice que la materia tiene esas 4 maneras de producir efectos que siempre son solamente transformaciones del estado de la materia y que además esos efectos son algo que se debe a la naturaleza de las cosas. Si usted quiere decirlo de una manera muy elemental, las cosas hacen lo que hacen porque son lo que son.
And it is precisely within this limitation that the boundary with the spiritual begins to emerge. Can physics alone truly account for art, ethics, or freedom? For Carrera, the answer is a resounding no. Intelligence, creativity, and moral responsibility are not simply rearrangements of atoms or outcomes of mechanical reactions. Even though science has achieved remarkable precision in describing how matter behaves, that success does not imply that it has explained everything about reality. There are human dimensions, such as love, artistic expression, and consciousness, that go far beyond particle interactions or physical equations. These are realities we live, not phenomena we merely observe under a microscope. This is not a rejection of science, but a warning against transforming science into a closed ideology that denies what it cannot measure. Carrera offers a sharp, rational insight. If poetry is not a chemical product, if a moral judgment is not the result of a physical reaction, then something deeper must be at work within us. That something is what philosophy calls spirit, an immaterial yet unmistakably human dimension that science alone cannot fully grasp.
Entonces hay que admitir que en el ser humano hay algo que no puede provenir de la materia, que no puede ser efecto simplemente de una evolución material y que solo un espíritu puede explicar. Toda la actividad del hombre, artística, ética, el sentido de responsabilidad, la libertad, todo esto exige una causa no material y entonces el único que puede dar lugar a que exista esa realidad no material es el mismo creador no material que ha dado existencia al universo.
To acknowledge that there are aspects of the human being which do not originate from matter is not to reject science. it is to recognize its proper scope. Carrera is not proposing superstition, but rather logical coherence. If the spirit cannot arise from material processes, then it must have a different, transcendent origin. For Carrera, the true tragedy of modern thought is not its lack of answers, but its tendency to shut down the questions prematurely. The human being does not merely reason, we also seek. We search for meaning, beauty, truth, and justice. This ongoing pursuit points to a dimension that matter alone can offer. Science explains the how, but not the why. Carrera reminds us that reducing reality to the observable is to mutilate our understanding of the world. To deny the spiritual is not a scientific position, it is a philosophical and often ideological choice. If we are capable of love, of creating art, of sacrificing our lives for a noble cause, then clearly there is something within us that surpasses any formula or equation. Thus begins our journey, by challenging the belief that only the measurable exists, because perhaps what is most real is precisely that which cannot be seen.
Al hablar de la evolución de la vida, hay dos cosas que para mucha gente pueden parecer como un misterio, y lo son, pero un misterio que presenta tal vez dificultades de orden filosófico y teológico. La primera pregunta que puede dar esta impresión es ¿cómo ocurre esa evolución? ¿Ocurre por azar? ¿O hay algún tipo de plan para que la vida vaya evolucionando? Y segundo, si toda esta evolución nos ha dado tantas formas distintas de vida, ¿basta también la evolución para explicar que exista el ser humano?
Modern science shows that life evolves, but accepting evolution isn't the same as claiming everything came from chance. Manuel Carrera takes a clear stance. Chance cannot be life's ultimate cause, not because religion says so, but because logically it doesn't hold up. The complexity of life demands more than randomness. It calls for reason.
Decir que esto ocurre por azar es tan absurdo como decir que un ordenador va a tener el programa porque se lo hace él mismo por azar. Ah, no. El ordenador nunca se hace su programa. ¿Y qué es el azar al fin de todo? Pues no es nada. ¿Puede usted medir azar con un experimento de laboratorio? No. Deme usted 1 kilo de azar. Pues sí. El azar no es nada más que una palabra para disimular ignorancia.
The term chance, in this context, is often deployed to mask a genuine lack of understanding. We say by chance when we lack knowledge of why a phenomenon occurs. Yet in scientific reasoning, an unobserved cause is by no means equivalent to a non-existent cause. Carrera urges us to distinguish between the two and refuse pacifying answers that skirt deeper mysteries. Pure randomness, understood as a complete absence of direction or purpose, simply cannot give rise to complex functional structures without an underlying order. For life to evolve, the initial conditions of the universe would have had to be extraordinarily fine-tuned. The electron's charge, the gravitational constant, the expansion rate of the cosmos. Had any one of these shifted even slightly, life as we know it would likely never have emerged. Carrera sees in that precision not blind coincidence, but a trace of intelligence. What matters, he argues, is not merely the molecules themselves, but the information that structures them. Each cell holds a code that guides its growth and differentiation. Yet that code cannot be accounted for by random combinations alone. The universe operates under laws, and those laws, from the moment of origin, seem calibrated toward the possibility of life. This is the story told by physics, by biology, and by logic.
entonces cabe perfectamente hablar en términos filosóficos y teológicos de que el Creador, al crear el universo, le da un modo de actuar que sigue leyes físicas a partir de unas condiciones originales, porque el Creador sabe que comenzando con estas condiciones y esas leyes físicas se va a producir esto y esto y esto y esto a lo largo de toda la existencia del universo.
Accepting this view doesn't mean rejecting science. It means respecting its boundaries. Biological evolution may account for physical transformations, but it does not explain consciousness, free will, or the capacity to love. It cannot fully account for the human being. Accepting evolution does not mean denying purpose. Carrera does not dismiss biological evolution. Rather, he sees it as a mechanism serving a deeper aim. Human beings are not a random outcome. We are the expected result of a universe finely tuned to make us possible. This idea does not contradict science. It transcends it without invalidating it. Science can describe the processes, but philosophy dares to ask why they exist and what they mean. From the tiniest cell to the complexity of the human body, every structure is shaped by precise information, not by chaos. Claiming that randomness produced this complexity is like saying a novel was written by a splash of ink. According to Carrera, the universe reveals a design too consistent to ignore. This design is not the result of chaos or chance. Its steady presence throughout the cosmos suggests a mind behind it all. Carrera is not appealing to magic. He's pushing reason to its furthest frontier. To see beyond what is visible is the beginning of deeper understanding. That's why Carrera insists, chance alone is not enough. Behind the universe lies intelligence, structure, and meaning. You won't measure it in a laboratory, but reason, honest, unflinching reason, recognizes it.
El espíritu da a la materia su propio modo de existir sin limitaciones espaciotemporales. Y entonces la materia comienza a existir también fuera del espacio y del tiempo, y como solo en el espacio y en el tiempo es donde actúan las fuerzas propias de la materia, esas fuerzas ya no van a tener importancia, ya no van a limitar lo que hace ese cuerpo humano. Y así tenemos la realidad humana total viviendo con la libertad propia del espíritu.
According to Manuel Carrera, the resurrection is neither a mythological fantasy nor a mere spiritual comfort. It represents a radical transformation of the human being, where matter is no longer bound by the physical laws that currently restrict it. It's not about reviving a biological corpse. It's about the emergence of a new kind of body, one liberated from space, time, gravity, and entropy. What Christian tradition calls a glorified body is reimagined here through the lens of physics. Christian teaching has long affirmed the resurrection of the body, but not the body as we now know it, frail, vulnerable to decay, disease, and death. Instead, it envisions a body that has been transformed, transfigured. By connecting this theological vision to modern physics, Carrera offers a bold interpretation. Resurrection doesn't mean returning to a former state, but entering an entirely new form of existence. In that reality, matter is not erased, but its mode of being is profoundly altered, free to exist in ways we can scarcely imagine.
Tenemos el espíritu sometido a las limitaciones del espíritu humano, está donde está mi cuerpo. Y necesito tiempo para aprender algo, para razonar, para todas las actividades espirituales que hago. Puedo decir entonces que mi espíritu humano ahora está existiendo a modo de materia, condicionado por su unión con la materia en una única realidad personal. Lo que ocurre en la resurrección es que se intercambian los papeles.
In our current experience, matter is closely associated with change, decay, and fragility. But Carrera, a profound scholar of quantum physics, acknowledges that even now, there are subatomic phenomena which defy our everyday logic. Particles can exist in multiple places at once and vanish without crossing the space in between. If such behavior is possible at the microscopic level, then why should it be deemed impossible at the macroscopic scale, especially if divine power is involved? Quantum physics has demonstrated that particles don't behave like solid, stable objects. Instead, they operate more like waves of probability, energetic patterns that resist the categories of common sense. If a single particle can exist in two locations simultaneously, or disappear and reappear without any traversable distance, then our traditional understanding of matter collapses. Carrera does not use quantum mechanics as religious proof. Rather, he sees it as an open door, a scientific indication that the impossible might not be so impossible after all. Science may not confirm miracles, but it certainly does not rule them out.
Que lo que puede hacer una partícula puede hacerlo un conjunto de partículas. Y en mis laboratorios ahora yo puedo ver que una partícula está en varios sitios un tiempo, que puede ir de un sitio a otro sin pasar por el medio, que la partícula puede decirse incluso que no tiene identidad propia, sino que puede sintetizarse a partir de pura energía. Y todo esto, que es propio de lo que ocurre en nuestros laboratorios, solo a nivel de partículas elementales, por potencia divina, podemos decir será posible también para la realidad total que es el cuerpo humano.
Carrera does not abandon science to speak of resurrection. He pushes it to its limits. He does not reject matter. He elevates it. Because if matter can respond to spirit, then death is not an end, but a threshold into a new mode of existence. In Carrera's thinking, resurrection is not merely a spiritual promise. It is also an ontological claim, a bold declaration about the very essence of what we are. Spirit, he asserts, is not a fleeting shadow. It is the deepest principle of human identity. And if that spirit has the power to act upon matter, then we are destined for a fullness that current physics only begins to touch. Life for Carrera does not end at the grave. It begins beyond time. What he proposes is not a rupture between body and soul, but a transcendent continuity. The resurrected body is not less physical, but more free, more complete, more aligned with the truth of the spirit that animates it. It is matter liberated from limitation, able to express without distortion the eternal self of the human being, a form of existence where illness and decay are no more, and only wholeness remains. This is not poetry, this is physics, taken to the mystery.
Por mi experiencia, yo diría que mi mano es sólida y esta silla también. Por la teoría atómica sé que no es así. Creo la teoría atómica, no creo a mi experiencia. La mecánica cuántica, nadie la pone en duda, está extremadamente bien comprobada, pero uno de los que más contribuyeron a ella, Richard Feynman, dice taxativamente: puedo afirmar sin miedo a que nadie me contradiga que no hay nadie en el mundo que entienda la mecánica cuántica, pero se acepta. De modo que la fe humana me da la mayor parte de mi conocimiento, me da certeza aun en contra de mi experiencia y en cosas que no entiendo.
In an age where science and faith are often portrayed as opposites, Manuel Carrera offers a different view. Both stem from the same human foundation. Trust, faith, he argues, is not a blind leap, but a rational acceptance of truth we cannot directly verify, yet which is supported by authority, experience, or reliable testimony. To illustrate, Carrera turns to quantum mechanics. Very few truly understand it, yet we trust it. We rely on its results because they've been verified through experimentation. That trust isn't religious faith, but it's still a form of rational belief. And it's there that a bridge begins to form. For Carrera, science and faith are not rivals. They are companions in the human quest for truth. They each seek understanding, though by different methods. Carrera doesn't promote weak science or naive faith. He proposes a strong, integrated form of thought that acknowledges the diversity of human knowledge. To reduce all understanding to what can be measured is to deny vast domains of experience, ethics, beauty, love, and suffering. Even in the lab, the scientist relies on assumptions they cannot fully test. The reliability of instruments, the honesty of previous researchers, the accuracy of mathematical models. This too is a form of faith. A methodical, reasoned trust that allows knowledge to progress. And in recognizing this shared structure, Carrera offers a way to unite two worlds too often kept apart.
Durante siglos, ciencia significaba todo conocimiento razonado, y por tanto, la filosofía era ciencia, la teología era ciencia, la historia era ciencia, no era simplemente un catálogo de fechas y de nombres, y esto ahora ha cambiado de tal manera que lo único que significa la palabra ciencia en el lenguaje ordinario académico es el estudio de la actividad de la materia. Solamente eso.
Science observes, measures, and formulates laws. Faith, on the other hand, seeks meaning, asking about origin and destiny. When someone declares, only what science can prove is true, they fall into a narrow reductionism, one that Carrera firmly challenges. What cannot be explained by those four forces is not material. That's how clearly it must be stated. Just as justice cannot be measured with a ruler, nor art examined with a microscope, science too has its limits. It cannot address the ultimate mysteries of existence. For such questions, other modes of knowledge are needed, like philosophy and theology, disciplines rooted in reason, but guided by different methods. Not everything real must be testable in a laboratory. The most profound human decisions, to love, to forgive, to trust, are not quantifiable. And yet, they define our lives more deeply than any equation ever could. Carrera's vision reminds us, truth is broader than scientific verification. To ignore that is not to be rational. It's to overlook entire dimensions of human experience.
La fe es el conocimiento recibido directamente de Dios acerca de la realidad de Dios y del destino humano. Y la teología es el esfuerzo racional de entender los datos de esa revelación. De modo que hay que distinguir fe de teología.
Accepting the limits of science is not a denial of its value. It's a tribute to its method, and acknowledging that faith can offer answers to profound human questions is not superstition. It's a way of embracing the full range of our experience. For Carrera, faith possesses its own rationality. It does not aim to replace science, but to provide a horizon that science alone cannot reach. Faith, in Carrera's view, does not oppose reason. It extends it. It doesn't begin where science ends. It runs alongside it, exploring dimensions where science either cannot or chooses not to tread. Thus, the real conflict is not between science and faith, but between open inquiry and narrow, reductionist worldviews. Only a mind open to both evidence and mystery can honor the depth and complexity of human existence.
La racionalidad humana tiene como efecto universal la búsqueda de verdad, belleza y bien. Toda verdad en todos los campos, y la verdad es decir que las cosas son lo que son realmente, no lo que a mí me gustaría. busca belleza, busca orden y armonía en todos los niveles y busca el bien que finalmente implica relaciones personales, y ahí está la base de la dignidad humana del hombre como sujeto de derechos y deberes. Y la racionalidad busca entender, y por eso se basa en los tres principios de la lógica. El de identidad, las cosas son lo que son, me guste o no me guste, y por eso hacen lo que hacen. El de no contradicción, no vale lo mismo decir sí que no ante una pregunta que no es equívoca. Y, muy importante, el principio de razón suficiente. Hay que dar una explicación coherente en que hay una conexión lógica entre la causa que se propone como explicación y el efecto que se quiere explicar. Y hoy está muy de moda, pero muchísimo, el olvidarse de este tercer límite del razonamiento.
Ultimately, the so-called conflict between science and faith is not a genuine one. It is ideological in nature. It arises when each is misrepresented or reduced to simplistic caricatures that ignore their true depth. Carrera urges us to move beyond this false division and embrace a fuller view of reality. Science tells us how the universe works. Faith reveals why it holds meaning. Together, they guide us closer to truth, not as enemies, but as complementary forces.
El principio antrópico nos dice que si se estudian las características del universo, sus fuerzas, sus estructuras, su evolución, se llega a la conclusión de que no puede cambiarse prácticamente nada sin que las leyes físicas inmediatamente digan no podríamos existir.
What if a single constant in the universe was slightly different? What if the Earth's distance from the Sun changed by just 10%? What if the electromagnetic force were even slightly altered? According to the anthropic principle, these aren't just theoretical variations. They are the very conditions that make our existence possible. For Manuel Carrera, this delicate fine-tuning of the universe's laws is no accident. It is a clear sign of intention. Modern physics has uncovered just how incredibly sensitive the universe is to its own parameters. Minuscule changes in the total mass of the cosmos, in the strength of a fundamental force, or in the stability of an atomic element would be enough to make life as we know it impossible. Carrera illustrates this with sharp clarity. If the universe had slightly less matter, stars wouldn't form. If it had slightly more, it would collapse in on itself. Even the iron in our blood, or the gold in a ring, tells this story. They are remnants of giant stars that exploded long before Earth came into being.
Si tienen ustedes un anillo de oro, es ceniza de una estrella que explotó probablemente millones de años antes de que se formase la Tierra. Si tiene un artefacto de hierro, ese hierro viene de una estrella mucho mayor que el Sol, que al final de su vida explotó e hizo que la Tierra tenga un núcleo de hierro que es la tercera parte de su masa. Y esto es importante, sí. Si no hubiese núcleo de hierro, no viviríamos aquí, porque ese núcleo de hierro actúa como un imán y nos protege de la radiación cósmica con un campo magnético.
That iron core does more than provide gravitational stability. It also generates a magnetic field that shields our planet from cosmic radiation. Without it, life as we know it would be impossible. And it's not just iron or gold. Every element essential to life depends on an incredibly delicate balance of the universe's fundamental forces. Carrera doesn't call for blind faith. He appeals to reason. As he points out, it wasn't theologians but physicists who first proposed this principle. Why? Because they were the ones who uncovered the overwhelming evidence. Everything appears precisely calibrated for intelligent life to exist.
Lo que sí podemos preguntarnos es si la ciencia apoya de alguna manera que el universo está hecho para el hombre. Y la respuesta sorprendente es que han sido científicos, no filósofos ni teólogos, los que han propuesto lo que se llama el principio antrópico. Antropología es el estudio del hombre. Anthropos, del griego, significa el ser humano.
What if all this were mere coincidence? Carrera responds with a familiar example. What is possible is not always probable, and what is probable doesn't always come to pass. To claim that, just because there are countless planets, there must be life elsewhere, is a logical fallacy. The fact that something is possible does not guarantee it will occur, and certainly not without a cause. From this perspective, the universe doesn't resemble a chaotic accident that randomly produced consciousness. Rather, it appears as a structure intricately and intelligently composed to make consciousness possible. This fine-tuning of the universe isn't a poetic metaphor or a theological interpretation disguised as science. It is an empirically observable phenomenon grounded in physics, one that forces us to reconsider how we fit into the grand scheme of things. The universe could easily have been chaotic, inhospitable, and entirely unfit for life, but it isn't. Among countless theoretical possibilities, we exist in a cosmos where carbon can form, where molecules bond, where an atmosphere protects us, where water flows, and where consciousness awakens. When these coincidences pile up, they begin to lose the appearance of mere chance. Some scientists still refer to it as cosmic luck, but Carrera urges us to look deeper. When we see coherence, harmony, and purpose, we are invited to seek meaning. The anthropic principle does not divide science from spirituality. It weaves them together into one profound question. Why is there something rather than nothing? For Carrera, this culminates in a striking image. God was not satisfied with the vastness of the cosmos. He became man in a quiet corner of the universe.
La creación se justifica, finalmente, según nuestra teología maravillosa, porque es en este pequeño planeta donde Dios se une a la materia y se hace hombre. Y así hay una poesía de José Luis Martín Descalzo al planeta Tierra que termina diciendo: y tú, pequeña, eres de las estrellas la más importante, porque tú fuiste casa y fuiste cuna. No tengas nunca, tierra, envidia de ellas, que si tienen más luz tú vas delante en ese amor que mueve sol y luna. Yo decía a mis alumnos en Estados Unidos el primer día de clase que la astrofísica tenía la gloria de ser perfectamente inútil, y a ellos les extrañaba que eso lo dijese el profesor el primer día de clase. Y yo les decía: sí, como es perfectamente inútil desde el punto de vista materialista económico, la poesía. Pues muy bien, la astrofísica es la poesía de la ciencia. Dejémoslo así, la estudiamos porque es hermosa, porque nos responde además a el deseo que todos llevamos dentro de entender esa maravilla que es el cielo cuando lo vemos sin prejuicios.
Carrera found in astrophysics a profound echo of what stirs the human spirit, the longing for beauty and truth, even when they do not yield immediate practical results. To him, likening science to poetry wasn't mere metaphor. It was a recognition of the soul behind every authentic scientific endeavor. Yet not all minds see it the same way. Stephen Hawking, for example, argued that gravity alone could generate countless universes from nothing. Carrera responded decisively, questioning both the logic and deeper implications of such bold claims.
¿Para qué científico hay gravitación si no hay materia? La gravitación es el resultado de la existencia de materia. La nada no puede dar nada de sí porque no tiene propiedad alguna. Einstein En una ocasión en que le preguntaron si pensaba que la física podría finalmente explicarlo todo, contestó: tal vez, pero no tendría sentido. Dice, sería como decirme que da lo mismo ver una gráfica de presión atmosférica cuando está tocando la orquesta que escuchar una sonata de Beethoven. No es lo mismo.
Carrera's critique is not merely conceptual, but deeply methodological. He strips away the fantasy that sometimes masquerades as legitimate science. His concern isn't to hinder bold speculation, but to ensure it remains grounded in logical coherence and disciplined thinking. For when ideas lose that foundation, they risk mutating into modern myths, ones that mimic scientific rigor without truly possessing it. With that same clarity and sharpness, he refers to Nobel Prize-winning physicist Steven Weinberg and his bleak, desolate view of the universe.
Steven Weinberg, premio Nobel, al que se citó antes, tiene un libro que se titula Los 3 primeros minutos. Habla del origen del universo y su evolución. El último párrafo del libro es verdaderamente desolador. Dice textualmente: cuanto más conocemos el universo, más absurdo parece. Y uno le puede preguntar, ¿por qué dice usted eso? Y da la razón. Es absurdo que haya un universo tan lleno de maravillas, tan lleno de hermosura, para luego destruirlo todo. Y la ciencia no me da alternativa. Se puede calcular cuando ya no brillará ninguna estrella, cuando el universo será una inmensa burbuja de vacío, oscuridad y frío. Entonces, ¿para qué todo? Y como no tiene otra respuesta, dice, el universo es absurdo.
Weinberg, confined within a purely materialist framework, could not perceive any ultimate meaning in the universe. Carrera, however, suggests a more hopeful vision. He invokes physicist John Archibald Wheeler, who posed 2 deeply philosophical questions. Why is there something rather than nothing? And how do the universe's properties relate to human existence? For Carrera, these questions open a doorway to deeper understanding and purpose.
John Archibald Wheeler pone en un artículo donde dice: hay 2 preguntas básicas. Primera, ¿por qué hay algo en lugar de nada? Segunda pregunta, ¿qué relación hay entre las propiedades del universo ya en su primer momento y nuestra existencia? Y dice, si no sabemos contestar a estas 2 preguntas, tendremos que confesar que realmente no entendemos nada. Y él hace luego un raciocinio que podría haber firmado Santo Tomás, donde dice, la propiedad más absolutamente propia de la materia es su mutabilidad. Toda la ciencia estudia los cambios de la materia. Pues bien, toda mutabilidad implica la posibilidad de existir de diversas maneras. Aquello de que hablamos como mudable no está determinado esencialmente a existir solo de una manera. Y luego añade, todo aquello que puede existir de diversas maneras tiene que ser ajustado extrínsecamente para que exista de una manera concreta y no de otra de las posibles. Y por tanto, el universo tuvo que ser ajustado ya en su primer momento, y ese ajuste tiene que tener un fin, y el fin que se descubre es ajustarlo para que pueda existir la vida humana.
Carrera finds in this line of reasoning a profound echo of the theology of St. Thomas Aquinas, who taught that everything contingent, everything that might or might not exist, requires a cause to determine its being. This way of thinking does not deny science, it completes it. It does not impose religious conclusions, but rather opens a space to acknowledge that existence is not an accident. For Carrera, then, the universe is not a cosmic joke, nor a purposeless coincidence. It is a finely tuned creation, one with a final meaning that transcends physics. Science, when pursued with honesty and humility, does not exclude this dimension. It brushes against it, and in that brief contact, science becomes poetry. But also humility. Carrera often insisted that the true scientist is not the one who claims to have all the answers, but the one who acknowledges the mystery that still surrounds us. That mystery is not a boundary for reason, but its deepest driving force, because only the one who admits not knowing everything is truly able to keep searching. And for Carrera, that search never truly ends.
Sé que no es el final. Sé que hay una realidad que ya no transcurre en el tiempo, que no necesita, por lo tanto, describirse en términos de actividad física, ni en el espacio ni en el tiempo. Y en ese no tiempo espero poder entender lo que no entiendo en mi vida temporal en todos los aspectos. De modo que es una esperanza muy positiva, que no me da miedo ninguno. Simplemente estoy viviendo sabiendo que mi muerte no es un cero final.
To begin from this affirmation is to take seriously the deepest mystery we face, death. Not as a mere biological shutdown, but as a passage towards something that transcends space and time. Death is not simply the end of functions. For Carrera, there exists a reality that escapes the clock and the material world, a non-time where physical constraints no longer apply. This perspective is not escapism. It's the logical outcome of recognizing that there are dimensions of the human being that physics cannot grasp. When life ages, old age appears as a prelude to that transcendence. In that final stretch, the desire for meaning grows, for reconciliation with the past, for leaving a legacy. Carrera once said, "Old age is a time of maturity. The one who grows old has a wealth of experience, and that wealth passes on culture." That value is not diminished by physical decline. It shines through the light of testimony. In our time, where usefulness and productivity reign supreme, old age is often seen as a burden. But Carrera reminds us that it holds a richness. Modern life tends to forget the wisdom of lived experience, the clarity that comes from having loved, suffered, and understood. To accept death with serenity is not resignation. It is clarity. It is recognizing that matter has limits, that biochemical processes alone cannot explain the soul's poetry, the sense of beauty, the longing for the good. And in those final moments, what once seemed like an end begins to resemble a threshold, where reason stretches towards mystery and finds peace beyond explanation.
Ningún proceso físico-químico puede explicar una poesía. Ningún proceso físico-químico puede explicar mi deseo de conocer, de encontrar verdad, belleza y bien. Ahí es donde está la grandeza humana. Y entonces, como ningún proceso físico-químico explica eso, no puede atribuirse a la materia, que solamente actúa por las 4 fuerzas que estudiamos en la física. Y lo que no puede explicarse por esas 4 fuerzas, no puede explicarse por la actividad de la materia.
This statement is not an escape into baseless spiritualism. It is a critique of how insufficient it is to reduce the human being to what is measurable. If something within us cannot be explained by the 4 fundamental forces of matter, then it bears witness to something beyond them. Carrera also warns of the danger of severing the link between generations. When a society marginalizes its elders, it deprives itself of an irreplaceable source of wisdom. It is through that dialogue with the past, with those who have walked the path, that the young may find direction and the old meaning, and that something more demands a foundation. It cannot rely on the material alone, because matter decays. As Carrera puts it,
Entonces, tengo una razón muy lógica para decir que en el ser humano hay una actividad que no puede atribuirse a la materia, que necesita una fuente distinta de la materia y que por lo tanto no debe ser caduca y perecedera como es todo lo que hace la materia según sus leyes. Y ahí es donde está la razón básica, filosófica, que no necesita tampoco la teología cristiana para decirse, la razón filosófica de que en el ser humano hay que admitir una realidad no material. Y si hay una realidad no material, entonces tampoco puedo esperar que lo que no es materia desaparezca simplemente porque la materia deja de funcionar correctamente con una enfermedad y con la muerte.
This philosophical logic leads to a profound hope, that our existence does not end with biological death, that there is a possible continuity, a meaning that transcends the passage of time. It is not religious concession, but rational inference. To live with that awareness is to grant deeper weight to each day, each act, each relationship, each small gesture. Old age no longer fears the end, it prepares for the eternal dawn. And death ceases to be final, it becomes a threshold. This chapter does not end with a conclusion, but with a question that echoes in the silence of the soul. If there is something beyond, how should we prepare for that encounter? For Carrera, the answer is not found in calculation or control, but in humble openness to the mystery that already pulses within us. A mystery not beyond reason, but beyond measure. And that concludes our video. If you enjoyed the content as much as we did, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss a single episode. Leave a comment below. We'd love to hear your feedback and suggestions for future videos. And don't forget to turn on notifications to stay up to date with all our updates. Thanks for being part of our community. See you in the next video.